Well, hello there. Father Francis here, and well, this is kind of where I do a lot of my video editing, some of the videos that you see here on YouTube. And so I thought what I'd do is I'd just take a few moments and just kind of do a behind the scenes little homily. Haven't done this probably ever. So backing up some things. It's interesting, people know that I like computers and I like Macs. And one of the things I always ask people, are you doing a regular backup? And well, even though I know the answer, you should be backing up your files all the time. Sometimes we don't always practice what we preach. So fortunately, I'm in the process of backing up a long overdue backup, but nonetheless, backing up my files. Yes, computers can be wonderful. They can help us do a lot of really fun and creative things, but the reality is that they don't last forever. My Mighty Mac Pro here, that you see kind of maybe here, is going on about 7 years, 6-7 years, and it's kind of coming to the end of its life cycle. And it just reminds me that nothing lasts forever, except the love of God. Now, the reason why I'm here is I'm going to do this week's homily right here. No green screens, no, it's not going to be in the church this time, just a very simple, straightforward, kind of like a little computer fireside chat. That's what we're going to do here this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning, whenever you're watching. And so, with that being said, our readings today, in this 5th Sunday in Ordinary Time, talk to us about Jesus inviting the disciples to go out into the deep water for a catch. And this coming Wednesday, we begin the holy season of Lent. And in some ways, I want to talk about Lent and kind of the whole beauty about the Lenten season. Now, I know for some people, Lent is not really, it's probably not their favorite liturgical season. Let's be honest. Some people just really have a hard time with Lent. And don't get me wrong here. There are times I have a hard time with Lent too. One of my dearest friends, for almost 20 some odd years, we have gone through so many different Lents together. And we finally realized that, we plan our Lent and then God plans the Lent that He has for us. And a lot of times they're really not exactly what we were planning at all. So anyway, with that being said, I think it's a good idea to prepare for Lent. Lent, of course, is a preparation for Easter, as we all know. But I think that it makes sense to maybe take a little bit of time out to kind of reflect upon, kind of how you want to observe Lent. How do you want to live Lent? And I think there's nothing wrong in trying not to so much plan and organize your Lent, like what am I going to give up for Lent? That usually is the big buzz catchphrase, right? What are you giving up for Lent, Are you giving up berry hibiscus drinks? Real refreshing drink from Starbucks? Are you giving up chocolate? You're giving up watching movies or going to movies? Maybe you're giving up social media. Maybe no more Facebook or Twitter for, the 40 days of Lent. God bless you. And so people kind of begin to look at Lent as a time of self-denial. And it is that to some extent, but not so much in the sense of, I'm going to tough out living without chocolate or, maybe just eating, no hamburgers or, I'm not going to eat meat. Some people go on a vegetarian fast. They eat mostly vegetables and salads and at the end, they kind of feel better, they say, and they lose weight, but, they go back to their regular eating habits after Lent sometimes. And so those are things that you can think about doing, certainly. There's nothing wrong with that. But Lent is so much more. In the gospel today, Jesus invites the disciples. Now, you have to maybe literally get in their boat and kind of feel their frustration, their disappointment, maybe their anger, they're tired, They probably haven't had a bath in a long time, so they're probably not very pleasant to be around amongst themselves and even each other, and by themselves even, you know. And then here comes Jesus, and he comes to preach, to teach, but now he's going to take these very intimates of his, and he's going to invite them to something even more wonderful and fast and fantastic. He's going to say, let's go back out there, guys, and try it again. Have you ever been in that situation where you've tried everything and the last thing you really want to hear is, let's go try it again? It's like, no, I don't think so. I've already given it my college try and I failed, you know. Well, Jesus says, no, let's try it again, guys. Let's go out. And this time, instead of maybe catching something, you know, I think if they just put their nets down and they caught something, they would be, wow, this is great. Because they caught nothing for days and nights on end. So if to catch a little something would have been pretty good. Would have been pretty good. Think about it. But no, not at all. You know, this is the Lord of abundance. You know, he says, put down your nets for a catch. And they not just pull up a few fish or some fish, but they pull up this huge, enormous haul of fish. The haul is so big that it threatens to swamp the boat and sink the boat. So this great God of generosity reveals himself to these tired, poor, discouraged fishermen. And they get a second chance. It's like, wow. And yet Peter knows something's going on, something very miraculous. And he senses, maybe for the first time, that this Jesus isn't just an ordinary itinerant rabbi. There's something indeed very, very, very unique and special about him. And he begins to say, wow, Lord, I am a man of unclean lips, you know, depart from me, you know. And yet Jesus kind of smiles at him. And he basically tells him, you know what, Pete, it's going to be okay. Let's go back to shore. In many ways, I think Lent is like that. It's our Lord inviting us, you know, not so much to give things up or to punish ourselves or to make ourselves feel bad, but to discover that he is a very generous God. He's generous with mercy. He's generous with forgiveness. He's generous with love. He's generous with healing. He's generous with even prosperity in our lives. And that's what he invites us to come and discover. See, Lent is a time of discovery. It's not deprivation, it's discovery. And I think that has a way of really impacting how you experience Lent. Because if you look at it as kind of a time of, you know, I'm going to deprive myself, and I'm going to walk around with a big scowl on my face, oh, woe is me, you know, that kind of thing. Or is it a time of discovery? Where you're going to be invited to discover the great depths of God's love. You know, there have been I've gone through many seasons of Lent, and Lent to me, believe it or not, is probably the most endearing because it's when I became a Catholic. But not only that, it's a time of conversion. As wonderful as, say, falling in love is, many of us have had that wonderful experience where another person transfixes us and transforms our lives. But in a real way, conversion to the faith, conversion to the Lord is 100 times even more powerful than that. And that's what I think we're really encouraged to discover in the Lenten season is, you know, a reconversion. If we've never been converted, that first conversion. And then even if we've been converted, maybe another new, out fresh pouring of that spirit of conversion to the Lord, to follow him. So, you know, Lent is a beautiful, exciting time. And I'm hoping that as you make your preparations, just like you'd make a preparations for, say, if you were going to go across the United States, or maybe over to, say, maybe the Philippines, or maybe going to Germany or some other place far away, you'd make preparations so that you would have a wonderful trip and discover many wonderful new things that you would take back with you that would enrich your life. So, with that being said, I hope that your Lent will be truly a one of great blessings, and may God pour out his blessings and grace upon you during this upcoming Lenten season. God bless you this day and every day. Thanks for watching.